Sam Spernat here for TheInformer. Today on Property Matters, we're going to be talking about one of my favourite topics, first home buyers, and how you should be looking at your principal place of residency, or your home as we often call it. Now, it's not just going to be about first home buyers. Everyone can take some of these points away. But the reason I really am angling this towards first home buyers is because, well, at the end of the day, they're the ones that should really use their first home as a stepping stone approach. It's not going to be your dream home. It's not going to be the end home. It's a home that you can possibly add some value to, you can improve, but at the end of the day, you're probably going to move on from it into something else in the future. So if you get this one right, it really will help you be set up for the future and your next steps. One thing in Australia we get that a lot of other places don't get, and I don't think it's ever talked about enough, is that your principal place of residency is actually tax-free. So any profit you make on the sale of your principal place of residency or your home is tax-free. Now that's a huge advantage that I don't think gets enough airtime. And it's really something that first home buyers should understand and I suppose focus on. So when I'm talking to first home buyers, I am a little bit more ruthless in my approach, and I often steer them towards what I more refer to as good investment and high growth locations, as opposed to say something that's slick and will photograph well for Instagram or their Facebook account. I really don't care about that approach to property. That's the all show no go approach. I'm more about the all go no show. And that's the way you really should look at it. We all see those properties that we look at and go, wow, that's amazing, or God, that's cool, that's slick. But is that actually going to be a good long-term investment strategy for you? Or is it a recipe for disaster? When I talk to first home buyers, I try and steer them towards properties that offer, as I said, good growth potential, but also a bit of value add. It may not have the current and greatest renovation on it. It may be a little bit tired, the garden may need some work. It may even just be plain ugly. But is there potential to improve? And are they then going to be able to move that property into a price point or into a category that moves it to the next level? And that's what you should really look at when talking about buying your first home or any home really. What do I mean by this? Well, let's use the example of the off-the-plan apartments, the high-rise developments, the house and land packages. Look, they're great and they serve a purpose for certain clients. But when coming to your first home, is that really going to be the best investment for you? Now, this isn't for everyone. They may serve a purpose for some. But what I try and steer my clients towards is the more established markets, the blue chip areas, the areas where there's already been growth. As I've said in previous shows, just because you buy an asset, if it hasn't performed up to that point, your ownership probably won't change that. And it's more important than ever when dealing with first home buyers. You want them to buy something that's going to increase in value. And that's why, look, I do steer a lot of my clients towards the established market, the villa units, the slightly rundown little houses that you can do a cool renovation on, because they offer growth potential. And that growth is tax-free, and that's something you've really got to take advantage of. So when looking for the first home, we look at something with a little bit of land, something that can be in an area where, you're close to transport, close to shops, close to beach or parks, or, the lifestyle, the reason you want to be there. I can tell you now, if you're looking at a property and there's nothing around it that you want to be near, why would you buy it? And that when you come to sell it will also be an issue that is raised. So focus on something that will offer potential. And that's the key thing here, is potential. Older style apartments in really cool Art Deco blocks, clinker bricks, where they've got a little bit of space, some land around them, offer great potential as well. But the focus should be on something that can grow and improve, not something that's going to look its best the day you actually buy it. And that's always been my little bit of hesitation around the off-the-plan apartment market and the new housing market, particularly for first home buyers, is that there isn't really anywhere for you to go in those properties. Where when you're looking at an old period home, look, we had a client recently, we bought a great rundown property for, they're going to add a heap of value to it, and that'll take it not just from a rundown, tired property with a garden that's overgrown that you can't see the fence in, all the way through to something that probably will be a little bit desirable and cool. I mean, we've all watched The Block and seen how they transform the ugly duckling into the beautiful swan. That's really what you should be looking to do for your first home as well. You don't want to buy something where the only way it can go is backwards in its appearance. You want to buy something you can improve. You want to use that tax-free advantage to then go to the next property. You know, the old saying used to be that when you buy a property, when you come to sell it, you want to be able to say, what do I want to do, not what can I do now? And that's more important than ever. We are seeing property being used as a way of improving your wealth. And you should always look at it as an asset, not just a commodity. The second you take that asset aspect out of buying a home and you look at it just as like a car or something, or a watch or a showpiece, well, you're probably going to make a mistake and not buy the right property. A lot of my clients over a lot of years have questioned some of these approaches, and you know, I don't have a problem with discussing them. But really what you want to do is the keep it simple approach. Don't reinvent the wheel. If the property that you're looking at has had good, consistent growth in the past, it should continue to have good, consistent growth in the future. If it hasn't grown in the past, your ownership isn't going to change that. So these are some really fundamental rules that first home buyers should take with them. The same way as when you're looking at a car, you don't just go out and buy the first car you see. It doesn't matter if you know what you want. You don't just buy the first one. You also don't buy a car without getting your mechanic to look at it, because that would just be a recipe for disaster. The same should be taken when buying property. Talk to an expert. Talk to the knowledgeable people in your group. Talk to people about whether it is the right opportunity or not. Because I can tell you now, the entry and exit costs in real estate will quickly make it the most expensive mistake you've ever made.